Are talking about the Capstone project for MIT xPro banking application. My name is Osama Muhammad Ali. Let's dive deep into the application diagram. So the first part we're going to talk about is the front-end architecture, authentication, and application diagram. The current application diagram is basically utilizing the MERN stack, which is basically React used for the front end. And this is currently usually running on the client side. And again, a backend, we're using Express.js, which is handling all the API and communication with the database. This is running on a server. In my case, I deployed this on the cloud. So this is running in the cloud. And then database, it's also running on the same server as the backend, the same VM. That one is basically running as a server, which is handling all the requests from Express as also store the database for the user. So let's take a look at the front-end architecture. Front-end, which is basically utilizing a hash router to take addresses and then route requests through. So if the user is creating an account, the hash router will utilize /create account and will send that to the correct route. Index.html is the first file loaded in the public directory, and index.js is where the hash router usually is implemented, is also importing the context, which is also allowing communication between the application components. All these components are in the public folder, and login, logout, this is the authentication component. Deposit and withdraw, basically this is the component that handling user deposit. Balance, showing user balance. And all data is just a data store dump, which is basically showing all the data in the database that belong to all users. This is kind of like a troubleshooting, good idea to have the information coming out. For the authentication, I had three options to go with to begin with. I mean, using Firebase was a good idea, using Firebase utilizing standard email and password. Good security, good start point, a lot of documentation available on Firebase, and it's very easy to integrate. The only problem was my Firebase account. It's basically didn't allow me to create or store any more than one user. So it wasn't a good idea to utilize that for whatever reason. It didn't allow me to do that. For the authentication with Firebase and using OAuth, I tried that. It only worked with Google account. I tried to enable other accounts. Obviously, this is some changes that happened to the free version of Firebase. Is no longer offering a lot of driver in the free section. Firebase is a good option if you are looking for a single sign-on. It's direct utilization. I ended up going with basic authentication and using the database and a session driver. It's easy to implement, and it requires using a hashing algorithm to store some of the information, to store secure information in there. So for authentication and